they always said I'm wrong, but what they doing today? I think they want me gone, but I ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim for therealsportstalk.com. We have made it to the NFL season, as tomorrow night the Dallas Cowboys head into MetLife Stadium in New York to take on the defending Super Bowl champion New York Football Giants in a rematch of a Week 17 game that propelled the Giants into the playoffs and ended in just ugly fashion for the Dallas Cowboys. A bunch of storylines going into this game. I'm going to give you my storylines and then make my prediction at the end. First off, I'm just happy that the NFL season's back. You're going to see previews all throughout this week of pretty much most of the NFL games, the ones that I have done with Justin Godsey of TRST and also of Pro Football Exclusive. So make sure you come and check those out. Again, if you miss anything, it's on therealsportstalk.com. My first storyline heading into this game really is not about either of these two teams, but it's about the NFL in general. The replacement officials will be in this game, and I'm nervous, excited, curious to see what these officials do. I don't think that there's a very good chance that they can really screw something up, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, a game-changing play would have to be screwed up for them to, or for the media to really jump on this and say that, oh, we got to get these officials out of there. So I think that the chances that these officials really suck and screw things up, they're not great, but I mean, obviously, I don't think that these guys are as good as the real officials. One of these guys was in that lingerie football league last year. And, I mean, as much as I enjoy watching the LFL, it's not exactly up to the speed of NFL, and the refs aren't exactly looking at, oh, was that a late hit on Tony Romo? No, they're looking at, oh, man, that is a nice ass. So, I mean, that's what they're looking at in those games. I want to see what these refs look like, and we'll go from there. For the Giants, the defending Super Bowl champions, can they avoid a slow start? This is a team that traditionally starts slow. We'll have to see, but you would tend to think in an NFC East that is extremely hard schedules this year, they can't start 0-2, they can't start 1-3 this year and get back into it. They're going to have to at least get off to a decent start and avoid being as streaky as they were not only last year, but in the past few seasons. Defensively for the Giants, I mean, people talk about how good the Giants' defense was, and I really wonder, did you watch Perry Fuel's defense throughout the regular season last year? Obviously, the defensive line with Justin Tuck, Ozzie Umenyiora, both of whom are not nearly what they used to be. Matthias Kiwanuka, Jason Pierre-Paul, who should have been the Defensive Player of the Year last year. Obviously, the defensive line is stacked, but the linebackers and the secondary were really a problem. This defense came together in the playoffs last year. If they didn't make the playoffs, Perry Fuel likely would have been fired as defensive coordinator. So I'm excited to see whether this defense is able to come into this game and play up to a good enough level of a team that looks like they won the Super Bowl last year. Ahmad Bradshaw was a huge disappointment for me as a fantasy owner and just as an NFL fan last year because I expected a big season. He was not able to stay healthy. He was really plagued by injuries for most of the season. I need to see if he's healthy, if Eli Manning and Victor Cruz still have the same type of connection, how Hakeem Nicks is doing. Martellus Bennett's been talking a lot at tight end for the Giants. Obviously, he was with the Cowboys for the first 4 seasons of his career. I'm excited to see about Martellus Bennett because he's really called the Cowboys out. And the final thing for the Giants is, can they avoid that Super Bowl letdown? The last time they won the Super Bowl in 2007, they came back the next year, were I believe 13-3, lost in the second round of the playoffs to the Eagles that year. So they really didn't have much of a letdown that year, just they weren't able to come back strong in the playoffs, which is traditionally how many of the teams that get back to the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl or being in the Super Bowl tend to be. As we look over to the Cowboys, there's a lot more pressure on the Cowboys to come out and win this game, because throughout this entire offseason, is it the end of the line for Tony Romo has really been one of the big, besides Tim Tebow and Jets camp, that's really been one of the biggest storylines of the NFL offseason is, look, Tony Romo's, 32 years old? He's been in the league 8-9 years now, and he's won one playoff game. He's been known for some playoff failures. Now, if Miles Austin catches that ball last year, the Cowboys do win in Week 17, in all fairness to Tony Romo, and probably go to at least the playoffs. Who knows where they go from there. But Tony Romo's got to step up this year. He had a very good statistical season last year, but he needs to step up and be efficient in the big game, or the big moments in this game and throughout the season. Dez Bryant got caught hitting his mother this offseason. DUI, that we've all heard about these Dez rules that Jerry Jones says doesn't exist. They probably do exist, but Jerry Jones says that they do not exist. Dez Bryant is so talented. I really enjoyed watching him at Oklahoma, or wherever he went to college. You get my point. I think it was Oklahoma State. And I thought that it was a steal that they got him at 24. Talent-wise, Dez Bryant has shown that he can be a great player, but he hasn't really put it together to the point where he's anything more than a guy that has 3 or 4 good games. He needs to be that number 1 type receiver this year, because Miles Austin had one really superb season, and Miles Austin is a good receiver. He's a top 20, maybe 15 receiver. But Miles Austin's not a superstar. Dez Bryant has that potential. We've heard that he may return kicks and punts in this game. We'll have to wait and see, but Dez Bryant is really on his last limbs with the Cowboys because of off-the-field troubles, and because, quite frankly, he has not lived up to expectations. Jason Garrett's pretty much in the same situation as Tony Romo. Jason Garrett, has he been a bad head coach there? No. Has he done anything special? Not really. So Jason Garrett has to come in there this year and get this team motivated to go out there and have a really good season. Final thing I have, DeMarco Murray, is he able to keep going? He looked really good late last season, kind of came out of nowhere. We'll see what the Cowboys are able to get out of DeMarco Murray, but I like the Cowboys in this game. The pressure's on them, and I think they respond early. The Giants lose this game, okay. I mean, they won the Super Bowl last year. They've come back from these type of deficits early in the season to win before it. It's not the end of the world. If the Cowboys lose this game, it's, Tony Romo era might be over in Dallas. Is Jason Garrett on the hot seat? I just think that this is a game that spells the Cowboys winning. I think Dez Bryant gives a really strong performance for the Cowboys, who defeat the New York Giants in a... this isn't a blowout, but I think it's a statement-type win, 24-14 in Week 1. Give me your thoughts. I'll preview a bunch of the other games this week as well. Thank you for watching. Hit me up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, KASHKelly_TRST. Like The Real Sports Talk at Facebook.com/The Real Sports Talk, and check out TheRealSportsTalk.com.
Just a little ways around the corner from fear. Be there, next year, where I'm going.